Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, President Buhari applauds achievement of Governor Akinwumi Ambode as he commissions major projects executed by the ongoing state chief executive. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Christine Gige, and the Nigeria Medical Association disagree over the impact of brain drain in the country's medical sector. Appeal Court reserves judgment in the election petition filed by the Governor of Osun State challenging the verdict of the Election Petition Tribunal which nullified his election. And authorities in Sri Lanka admit major intelligence lapse as police identify 8 of the 9 suspects arrested over Sunday's multiple bomb blasts that killed over 300 people in the country.
On Business News tonight, Economic Community of West African States asks Nigeria and Benin Republic governments to speed up signing of African Continental Free Trade Agreement to create an integrated African market.
On Sports News tonight, Guinea edged past Nigeria on penalties to reach the final of the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations.
And from Abuja, Plateau State chapter of the People's Democratic Party suspends its chairman and deputy over alleged mismanagement of election funds. Suspended party leaders dismiss allegation as false.
The President says he is satisfied with the performance of the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, in the last 4 years. President Muhammadu Buhari notes specifically that the policy thrust of Governor Ambode's government is targeted at impacting positively on the people. He was speaking at the inauguration of the world-class Oshodi Transport Interchange, the mass transit buses, and the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, all in Lagos. Our correspondent, Dare Edo, reports.
10:45 a.m., the president's plane touches down at the presidential wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. It is his second commissioning assignment in the state in over a year. The president's right-hand man on this occasion is the host governor, Akinwumi Ambode, flanked by other governors from the southwest, ministers, and other top government officials. Is straight to the day's business as they visit each of the project locations.
The Lagos Theatre Ikeja is about our social development sector, where the Oshodi Transport Interchange and the buses come under our transport, infrastructure and commerce sectors. The Murtala Mohammed International Airport Road is an infrastructure development project. Mr. President, the first tranche of the Paris Club Reform to States, approved by Your Excellency, was what we used to pay the 40% down payment for the 820 buses that you see here today. We are very grateful, Mr. President. It may also interest you to know, sir, that our second tranche of the Paris Club reform, in addition to the reform by the federal government on federal road projects executed by states, are the resources we have applied to the construction of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Road and this first in Africa transport interchange.
For the president, Governor Ambode has made giant strides.
Your Governor Akinwumi Ambode has performed satisfactorily, and we should all commend him for the contributions to the growth and development of Lagos State. I want to once again thank all the people of Lagos State for their support for our government and our party.
It's President Buhari's first visit after his re-election. This time he's commissioning 5 projects across the state, some of them not completed yet. But he said he's quite impressed with the level of work done by the incumbent governor, Akinwumi Ambode.
with the Oshodi Transport Interchange, the mass transit buses, the Lagos State government says it is solving transportation, security, and environmental challenges. Daredu, Channels Television News.
One of the major projects inaugurated today by President Muhammadu Buhari is the newly reconstructed Institute of Maternal and Child Health, also known as Ayinke House. The institute, which is located within the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital in Ikeja, has been upgraded to a 170-bed, 5-theatre facility, among other improvements. It is described as the biggest maternity hospital in Nigeria. Our correspondent Mary Alale Yusuf now reports.
Some governors and other dignitaries arriving for the commissioning of Ayinke House. Now known as the Institute of Maternal and Child Health.
The President, Commander-in-Chief, the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
They are on hand to welcome President Muhammadu Buhari as he arrives to do the honors. The facility has been out of use for several years.
Today, 7 years after the closure of this facility, this new edifice has a 16-bed emergency care unit with 3 organ support facilities, 30-bed special baby care unit, 5 neonatal intensive care units, a fully equipped laboratory with support services, laboratories, and a blood bank.
The president wastes no time in commissioning the institute and conducting a tour of the edifice. He leaves immediately after. According to the Nigeria Demographic Health Survey for 2013, the neonatal mortality rate is 37 deaths per 1,000 live births. Health personnel in Lagos are pleased that the institute is equipped to reduce this and other unpleasant child and maternal statistics.
The government has signed maintenance contracts, all right, but I'm hoping that this contract will be renewed from time to time, such that all the lovely equipment, the excellent facilities we have here will not degenerate.
Several patients are already on admission in Ayinke House, and work is going on. This new facility used to have 120 beds, and now it's been upped by 50 beds. It's also being transformed into a training facility where people will be trained in different disciplines in medicine. Now, what does this mean? If this goes on well, it means that the consultations for mothers and children, less money spent for treatment, both personally and by the government. That also means more productivity for women and more cognitive development for children. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
The Minister of Labour and Employment and the President of the Nigerian Medical Association are not on the same wavelength regarding the critical issue of brain drain and migration of Nigerian doctors. The Minister, Dr. Chris Ngige, says that contrary to impressions that the country is losing, the movement of doctors abroad is actually attracting investment into the country. Dr. Ngige was a guest on our breakfast program, Sunrise Daily.
And for someone who is in the medical field, aren't you concerned that, we could be facing a crisis of, a shortage of hands in the medical field as we progress?
No, I'm not concerned at all. I'm not worried.
You're not?
We have surplus. If you have surplus, you export. Yes. It happened at one time, Indian teachers. I was taught biology and chemistry by Indian teachers in my secondary school days. They are surplus in their country. We have surplus in the medical profession here, I can tell you. It's my area.
This is where we're complaining that we don't have enough doctors to man rural areas. There is not enough medical professionals. You say we have surplus?
We have enough. We have more than enough. Quote me.
So there is nothing wrong with all of these people coming to...
No, nothing wrong.
To come and...
They go out, they sharpen their skills, they earn money and send them back home here. Yes, we have earnings from them. We have foreign exchange earnings, not from oil. The Indians were doing it Ceylonese. They taught me. Pakistanis. They taught me.
Are you abreast of what is currently happening in the medical sector?
How?
Honorable Minister.
No, I am.
I'm trying to see if I can get that article now. This was written a couple of weeks ago by a columnist.
Those guys go there, they are trained, they are better trained because of the facilities they have there. Eventually, I know some of them who have come back home with those facilities and opened up centers here. I know of my doctor in America. He has a facility in Imo State now. Has about 4 facilities in Maryland where he is practicing. And so you tell me that there's a brain drain. Yes, he has gone there. In fact, he left in the 80s, yes. We were medical school together. I know a couple of them. And they are setting up centers back home here. And in their centers, they have CAT scan, they have MRI scan, they have other scan, which even the government hospitals cannot maintain.
Well, the president of the Nigeria Medical Association, Dr. Francis Fadoyile, disagrees with the position of Labour Minister. Dr. Fadoyile notes emphatically that the country's doctors-to-patient ratio is grossly poor and cites poor welfare and infrastructure deficits as some of the reasons for medical brain drain.
Nigeria is in gross shortage of the number of doctors for the populace. This is different from even the specialists. The specialists are even not available as we needed them, and all this one have shown in the statistics, health statistics of this country. Nigeria has one of the worst maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, perinatal mortality rate. Our average life expectancy is very low compared to even countries that are about the same contemporary country like Nigeria. So, in a nutshell, that statement, it is not right. We don't have enough doctors. In fact, for us to have enough doctors to take care of all the populace in this country, if every medical school produces, if the total number of medical schools in this country produces 2,000 doctors every year, it will take us another 15 years for us to be able to achieve that World Health Organization ratio of 1 to 500 or 600 doctors. That is even if all of us decide to stay at home. So it is not right, it is false, and it has shown in our health statistics. Unfortunately, I don't know where he has gotten that view, but I guess he has left medical practice for a long time. And if you want to look at what is happening, some of the countries that he's saying that we want to export to, for example, UK, they have an average of 2.8 doctors per 1,000. Nigeria has an average of 0.2 doctors per 1,000. So does it make any major logical reasoning for where we have 0.2 doctors per 1,000 to start saying we want to export to where we have 2.8 doctors per 1,000?
To legal matters now, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has reserved judgment in the election petition filed by the Governor of Osun State, challenging the verdict of the Osun State Election Petition Tribunal, which nullified his election. After taking arguments from parties in the appeals, Justice Jummai Sankei announced that judgment has been reserved and that the parties will be informed as soon as they are ready. In 3 separate appeals filed by Governor Oyetola, the All Progressives Congress and the Independent National Electoral Commission, they asked the appellate court to set aside the March the 22nd, 2019 judgment of the Osun State Election Petition Tribunal, which declared Senator Ademola Adeleke as winner of the Osun gubernatorial election. Governor Oyetola's lawyer, Wale Olanipekun, pleaded with the 5-man panel of the appeal court justices to avoid the judgment of the tribunal because it violated the Electoral Act 2010 and judicial proceedings of the Supreme Court. Mr. Akin Olujimi, while arguing on behalf of the APC, also faulted the judgment of the tribunal headed by Justice Ibrahim Sirajo on the grounds that the petition was based on the rerun elections of September the 27th and that the petition, being an incompetent one, ought to be dismissed. INEC, in its own appeal, argued by Yusuf Ali San, informed the appeal court that the findings of the tribunal were wrong because they were based on uncertified documents dumped on the tribunal by by Senator Adeleke and the PDP. Although counsel to Governor Oyetola described commenting on the petition, lawyers to Senator Adeleke expressed optimism that the appellate court will uphold the verdict of the tribunal.
They have all been heard and the judgment reserved. We believe in the judiciary and we expect that the best will happen from the judiciary. You could see that we've been in court since morning and we've done what we should do as lawyers. The rest is now in the court of the judges to do justice to Osun State, to Nigeria, and to the whole world.
In part two, after the break, Senate calls for urgent action to stop killings resulting from communal clashes between the Tiv and Jukung in Taraba and Benue states, as well as attacks by gunmen in Kaduna State. Please stay with us.